Hi everyone, welcome to Royal Gems. I have a gem dropper. He goes by the name BTS. Well, for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Why don't you tell them what BTS stands for to you?
Behind the scenes, because this is a man that is there, but you don't really know he's there, and his ears are like Bluetooth. Okay, so if anyone sees him, whisper. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for coming on Royal Gems. His real name is Shane, by the way. So I know him because our daughters play on the same basketball team, and his daughter is a wicked baller. But I know him as a phenomenal father as well. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a father of three. My oldest is 21, my son is 16, and my youngest, the one that our kids play on the same team, is 12, turning 13. And yeah, I just try to get involved with the kids in basketball to keep them active, having something to do, keep their mind out the gutter, and just try to do the best that I could do.
Phenomenal dad, I'll definitely give him that. He'd be front row and center being like, come on, get the dribble.
Yeah, very, very loud in the games. I talk more in the games than I talk in person, so getting very active.
He's telling the truth, I promise you, because he's super quiet outside of that. But definitely a phenomenal father. But Thank you. Based off of the lifestyle I feel like we give our kids, is it giving entitlement?
Oh, super entitled. I feel like these kids don't know how good they have it.
At all.
Like compared to, especially when I was younger playing basketball, I didn't have the stuff that these kids have. So like all the training, all this extra stuff, like we didn't have those things. And you see how like we have to drive, if we don't drive our kids to practice, they're not making it to practice.
There's no bus.
There's no bus, like, so at those ages, if I had practice, I had to literally jump on the subway or the bus and take myself to practice, or I'm missing practice. And I had no excuse. I couldn't miss practice. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So yeah, these kids, they definitely don't know how good they have it. Even like down to, how much shoes would you say my has right now, basketball shoes?
Oh my God. I've lost track.
Lost count, right?
Yeah.
Same with Shania. Shania I lost count. I had one shoe.
For the year.
For the year. That's basketball, outdoor, indoor. That's
for the year.
Everything.
Shout out to you, Mom and Dad. We're appreciative, but we're just saying we had one shoe.
One shoe, exactly. We're not trying to throw nobody under the bus.
But we're just saying we had one shoe. Like, life was hard. I feel like they're also very entitled because we had to like work 10 times harder. So I feel like we don't want them to be entitled, but naturally we allow them to kind of have more leeway because that's kind of what we're working so hard towards. Exactly. So that they don't have to work as hard as us. But I also feel like it's created a lot of entitlement.
So would you say that we spoiled them essentially?
Yes.
It's our fault?
Disgusting. It's definitely our fault.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that too. It's our fault. Like, we spoiled them, but what are you doing what you're doing for if not to
give them a better life?
And give your kids a better life.
I agree.
So it's like, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, the entitlement comes with it, but at the same time, you want your kids to have everything you could give them.
I agree.
So, just that.
Okay, so what was your childhood like?
My childhood was a decent childhood. It was a good childhood. Like, grew up in the hood up until the age of probably like 15, 16. And then moved from Scarborough to Ajax. So at the time, I didn't realize it until I got older. Like, I was thinking selfish at the time because you're growing up in the hood and your mom's telling you, like, yo, we're going to get a house in Ajax. I didn't want to leave the hood. Like, Ajax.
It's a vibe.
Exactly. All my friends, and this is my whole childhood where I grew up. Like, I don't want to move to Ajax. Yeah. But at the time, you're not realizing your mom's trying her best to get you out of a certain environment.
You stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble. Yeah. But obviously, with me now, by the time I was 16, I was kind of already like
into the lifestyle,
into certain things already. So it's like, even when we first moved out, I'm taking the bus every day and still going back to the hood, chilling in the hood, like whatever nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, not realizing, like, yo, what am I doing? Like,
yeah, because she did it literally to better your life.
Out of here. So why am I coming back here and literally to do nothing? So it's like, I'm supposed to be going to school because I was still going to school in Scarborough because I refused to go to school in Ajax at the time.
So, you refused?
I wouldn't say like refuse like that, but it was like, nah, I don't want to leave my brothers then. Like, and at the time, like, Ajax wasn't what it was now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, like a mini hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Ajax is diversified. It's almost like living in Scarborough when you live in Ajax. Like the same people you see in Scarborough, you essentially now see like in Ajax, right?
So that wasn't there when it was time to move. So it was literally like you would be like a spot on a white piece of paper.
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was culture, but nothing like how it was now. So I'm like, I'm not going to Pickering High or none of those schools. Like, I'm going back to my old school. So I didn't realize how dumb I was. Like I'm taking the GO train. I had to take the GO bus and then the TTC bus to get to my school, right? And I'm not even going to school. When I get to school, I'm not going to class. I'm just doing nonsense. Exactly. So it's like,
what a life.
Until you realize, like, yo, GO bus fee, TTC fee, that's not cheap.
It's racking up. That's like $25 a day.
And my mom's not giving me money because she's like, you want to go to the school, you don't want to listen.
So you're on your own type.
Exactly. So eventually I made the transition over, but like honestly, I didn't last too long in the in the school because, in my opinion, they kind of magnified everything. So it's like teachers were saying little things that I didn't realize were like kind of borderline like racist. Yeah. Because I was young. Yeah. So they're like, you know, you come to pants with your you come to school with your pants sagging. You're not in Scarborough. This is not Scarborough. So you were like, okay, but really and truly, like that's like inappropriate to really be saying. To be saying that to a kid, like you're borderline, like you're saying you're saying subliminals. Yeah. Like, you know, but just not saying the actual directly. So it's like they magnified everything. So it's like you might get in a little trouble, but because you're the kid from Scarborough, like everything gets magnified. Yeah. So like I didn't really last. You already had a target kind of painted on your back. So exactly. So me like when I was younger, I didn't realize like I made it 10 times worse. But like even like your dress code, like little things like that. Yeah. You're putting a target on your back. You were diving into it. Not realizing like, bro, I'm giving them a reason to target me. But it wasn't explained to you, right? I feel like back then, our parents kind of were like, do what I said, and that's what it is. But nowadays, I feel like we parent our kids like, okay, like, don't do this, and this is the reason behind it. This is why I don't want you to do what you're doing. Versus our parents were like, I had a dream. God told me. Exactly. Like, no. So it's like, essentially, like, all our parents were like first generation West Indian. So we got raised like West Indian kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? So everything like their childhood, that's how our childhood was. Like the same rules, the same like bedtime schedule, clock in, street lights are off. Now the kids, them like, in my opinion, like they're more watered down. Like we're for sure foreignized basically. So we're raising them like foreign kids. Like for sure, so it's entitled, like, entitled, spoiled, like. Yeah. They're not getting bus ass like how we were. Yeah. Like, we're getting bus ass for any little thing. So it's like, you have siblings, right? Yeah. So essentially, like, say if you're like, you're the youngest, right? So if you give trouble and do something and the older one doesn't stop you, the older one's getting an ass whooping because too. I did something stupid. Yes. But it's really like, punish the one that actually did it. You see what I'm saying? So that's it. Okay, so who was your idol growing up? I don't know if to say idol because I didn't really idolize anyone. As a kid, I probably did. So like obviously we had like the Michael Jordans, and then growing up in the hood, I was like Iverson. Because Iverson would like Michael Jordan, like he was great, but he didn't embody how he didn't look like us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we idolized him for the game of basketball, the way he played, but now you see when Iverson came on the scene, like the braids, the tattoos. Sagging pants, the jewelry. Our generation. He looks like the older guys you see outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? So the man. Exactly. So everybody, we're all trying to braid our hair. Like, if Iverson go gets a fishbone, we're all getting a fishbone braid. Literally. Like, headband with the braids, like with the armband. It was wild. Exactly. So that era was wild. The Iverson crossover, like, so I'd more say like Iverson and probably like when I was younger. Do you have anyone in your life that you would say that you idolized? That you know, like father figure, auntie, uncle, teacher, it could be anyone. So, I would say like my dad, and then also my first coach. So my first coach in Scarborough, he like was almost like a father figure to like the whole team, right? Like he did a lot for us, like looked out for us, and even like the discipline that he instilled in us, it still follows me to this day. So it's like even the way like I train when I train my daughter, I'm still training her on stuff that he taught me from I was like 10 years old. That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of especially like I said with the discipline, I still carry some of those traits to this day. Okay. So and obviously like my mom, like, you know, like some also like a lot of the stuff she taught me, like in terms of like discipline, I still carry those same
morals.
traits and morals, like, and I still like push some of those same stuff on my kids to this day, right? So.
They need it. I feel like also too with this generation, I feel like if we did instill more like of the values and things that we were taught, maybe they wouldn't be so entitled.
Which is true, but do you also feel like some of the stuff like in today's society you couldn't necessarily do in today's society? Like
that's true.
Remember back in the day, like growing up in the hood, like a man's mom would come and bust their ass outside in front of everybody. That's a regular.
And embarrass them, and then you just don't do it ever again.
Not to do it again. And people see that and like look the other way because it's not your business, right? Try do that shit now.
Yeah, you're going to prison.
You're going to jail. So another example, like back in the day, like if we're on the block, right? And all of our, like, it's a village, so everybody's parents know everybody. If your mom seen me doing something wrong, your mom could bust my ass and will bring me home, and then my mom will bust my ass.
There's no questions asked.
Do that now. If you talk too tough to somebody's kid, like, they don't even know if the kid's in the wrong. They're coming to fight you and all that shit. So it's like kind of like that sense of a village.
Do it, yeah.
You can't.
It doesn't really exist anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore. There's no really like a village that. Mind you, that's just my personal opinion too. Right? So.
I definitely agree on that too, but I also feel like it takes a village.
It does.
And I'm super grateful for my village, whether it's like family, friends, the basketball community, but I feel like even like with our basketball team that our daughters play on, we're very much like a family village wise. Like if we see one child like struggling or a parent maybe stepped out for a second, it doesn't matter what parent, we're all gonna be like, did you eat? Did you have something?
Yeah.
Like any way that we can help, and I feel like that is important, but I feel like that's not really pressed and pushed in a lot of gateways and doors nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays it's like it's Poppy Show, and it's like it's almost everybody for themselves, like,
which is so sad.
It is sad, right? So, and I feel like that's why a lot of things are the way they are, because there's not really no unity, like especially in our communities. It's not really. I
feel like it's sad, but Black people are like crabs in a barrel.
It's been like that.
Yeah, I feel like, and it's unfortunate, but I feel like, and not all of them, I'm not going to like label and categorize exactly all of them, but I feel like I've ran into a few where they're crabs in a barrel. Like, they have opportunities and doors that they can put you into and rooms, and they'll sabotage so that they can get on top first.
For sure.
And I also feel like people block their blessings, like, from God by naturally doing that. Like,
for sure.
I do not like when people operate like that, but I mean, people do what they want to do. So it is what it is. Yeah. But off topic, because I would like to just dive a little more deeper. He's laughing because he knows I mean with the shenanigans. Okay. So what's your relationship status? And this is super off topic, but this is what I do. I just be throwing random stuff.
I know I'm single.
Oh, you're single?
Yeah.
Okay. So nowadays, like, I feel like I've heard from a lot of my friends, when men say they're single, it can mean you're single and you live with your wife. It can mean you're single and you live with a girlfriend. It can mean you're single and you live with the mother of your child. It can mean you're single and you're actually not single. So your relationship status, you're single.
Single.
Okay. So are you...
Commercial break time yet?
No, it's not commercial break time. He tried it. So you're single. Are you single... looking for a wife? Are you single looking to have fun? Are you single looking to expand your palette in different women? Like, what are you trying to do? It's 2025 next in a couple days.
Right now I'm just chilling.
Oh, you're chilling.
So, I'm just chilling right now. My main focus right now is kind of like my kids, to be honest with you. Like, trying to get them to lie.
That's a good word to turn the question. But he can't do that on Royal Gems. So yeah, you're single. Do you want a wife, a girlfriend, or are you trying to have a fun time? No one asked about your parenting, because we know you're a phenomenal father. Yeah.
Start with like maybe the girlfriend stage and then see where that goes.
Do you feel like marriage is your end-term goal? Don't lie.
Okay, for me, honestly, I didn't really grow up seeing marriage.
Okay.
Like, in my family, there's not really a lot of marriage. So it's like, it was never like a big thing for me.
Because it wasn't like...
It wasn't pushed in front. Like, you know, people like grow up like your mom's married, your dad's married, your aunt's married, your grandpa. I never grew up seeing marriage.
So it wasn't big in your like...
No.
underneath your home or your family dynamics. Okay, so then it would be something new to you then, for sure.
Yeah.
So do you feel like because you didn't really see that and it wasn't magnified like in your face, do you feel like you date with intentions, or do you feel like you date to have fun?
Yo, you're sick. So I guess you could say, well, yeah, date to have fun and then see where it goes.
Guys that say that, I don't know.
You're asking me a question. I'm just telling you, right?
Date to see where it goes.
Okay, date to have fun.
That's why. Okay, say that.
Date to have fun.
Okay, so you want to date to have fun. So have you ever been in a situationship where you were dating to have fun and then the female caught feelings? Like, how did you handle that situation? Truthfully.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess okay, yeah. Some people will feel like you're wasting their time, right? Like eventually.
But you're just like, we're having fun. Like, we're trying to see where this goes.
Exactly.
And you're like, why are you catching feelings? Okay, so you want to date to see where it goes. Have you ever dated and were trying to see where it went and fell in love by accident? Like, oops.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened? Were you guys together?
There's things, you know.
No, I don't know, but you're about to elaborate.
Okay, so elaborate it. Like, sometimes you have a good thing and don't realize what you had until you realize, like, you fucked it up.
Gems. Right there.
See? So,
I like that.
Yeah, and a lot of times, sometimes you'll get what you're actually looking for, but when you have it,
you're not ready for it.
You're not ready for it, or you don't realize until, like, you know, it's too late, or, like, too much damage has kind of been done. Where it's,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And then it's like too late to kind of double back, because then they're like, don't even bother spinning the block over here. The block has been closed.
You're 1-2 bad ways.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, you got it out your system and you want to spin the block. Yeah. It's a no.
Exactly. So.
Okay. So do you think you're toxic?
Whoa, toxic. I wouldn't say toxic. That's the T word, toxic.
With the capital T for you.
Nah,
notice how BTS, there's a T in there.
So the BTS, you didn't.
It may not be behind the. It may be toxic, guys. You may switch it up.
No, I don't feel like I'm toxic.
Do you have toxic traits, sir?
I wouldn't say toxic traits, but
he doesn't want it to be toxic.
I wouldn't say toxic, but nobody's perfect. So I have my flaws just like everybody else. So
what's two of your flaws?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want to know. We're diving deep.
2 of my flaws. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get ignorant quick sometimes.
Okay.
And then I have sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes a short attention span.
Okay, so you have a low tolerance for BS.
Basically.
Okay.
So it's like,
not too bad.
Sometimes you like, if I want things set like a certain way and I see it's not getting done, like, yeah, just.
You're about to get ignorant.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Whereas like some people will communicate like and talk it out and things.
Which is the right way.
Which is the right way, but my opinion, like I said, I'm not perfect, right? I feel like if certain things were said or whatever, like, and like certain things are expected, then we shouldn't have to always be talking about the same thing. So
for sure, like people should definitely grow from situations, but sometimes when you're ready to outgrow situations, someone isn't. They may not be healed from it. They still may be hurt. There still may be some residue.
Which is true. Over
that. So sometimes your short fuse, I feel like you also need a balance.
Which is true, yeah.
I feel like based off of your personality, I feel like you're very like calm, mellow guy. I feel like you need a girl that's like, no, I'm joking, but you know, not like that, but I feel like you need someone that's like a one but knows when to like tone it down.
Exactly. So I'm very I wouldn't say nonchalant, very like chill, like very laid back. Like I have a very laid back personality until
your fuse is pushed.
Yeah, but it takes a like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have like a short temper or like anger.
Just short fuse to foolishness.
To dumb stuff.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just that.
That's fair. Well, he apparently says he's not toxic, ladies, and he is single on the market. He's apparently not toxic. I think that every man has a little bit of toxicity. I also feel like females have toxicity.
That's all about it, because I'm just waiting for you to do your thing for when I'm ready to
ask
my list of questions. So get
do
your questions
do you guys hear him? Let me give these to him.
Get your questions out the way.
Okay, well, since you feel like you're not toxic, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, I'm not toxic. I definitely have a few toxic traits.
Okay.
He's like...
I'm just waiting to see how honest we're going to be today.
I definitely have a few toxic traits. I feel like I'm a very big lover and very, very forgiving. I could definitely admit when I'm wrong and say sorry, but I have a wicked temper.
So you're one of the few that take accountability.
I do. Like, I'd be the first to be like, if I'm wrong, I'd be like, I'm sorry. It will definitely burn the insides of my ribs and my stomach to say it.
Even if you're wrong?
No, if I'm wrong, it doesn't burn. But if the person is acting like, like
gloating, basically, I told you.
Oh my God, it will burn my insides. But I want them to know, like, even though like you're doing that, like I'm still accountable. I can still stand in the gap and be like, all right, I'm accountable. I was wrong.
Okay, that's good.
Do I like saying sorry if I'm wrong? Yeah. Like, I'll be the first to be like, I'm sorry. My bad. Okay. But it has to be within context. Like, it has to make sense.
Which is...
If I feel like what you're saying is foolishness, I'm going to be like, why do you feel like you need an apology? Understood. But some people think, like, that's me being a smartass. Like, I'm genuinely just saying, like, okay, like, what did I do wrong? I actually want to know why you require the apology. Because if you're requiring an apology for foolishness, I'm just going to be looking at you like you're crazy. Okay, maybe that's ignorant to some people, too.
I can see, but it makes sense. I get it, though. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like I have toxic traits, but I have grown. Like, a lot. But no, I definitely have some toxic traits that I'm still working on. Counseling is definitely a big thing, people.
None of us, nobody's perfect, so...
Do you believe in counseling?
No.
Why?
Again, that's another thing where it's like, in our community, they never...
It wasn't really out there.
Therapy, counseling, like, those things were kind of looked on like being weak, in my opinion.
I feel like in the black community, yes.
Our community, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Which it's not. There's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly.
I don't knock it.
Yeah.
If you need it and it works, go
Get
ahead.
it. Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that's another thing growing up where it wasn't really in our community.
I agree. And it wasn't okay for black men to cry.
Exactly.
Like, as a boy, as a teenager, as a man, it didn't matter. Like, it was not okay for you to show any type of emotions.
None at all.
And I feel like that has caused a lot of trauma within the black community, because then it has caused them to not know how to communicate, because they're taught to just like, be a man, be strong, work, provide, and do all the things that society deems correct.
Exactly.
So, I agree. Okay, Shane, since he's over here trying to give a little bit about himself, do you think you are considered a top tier man? Like, do you feel like you're a provider, a leader? Because I know a lot of these men nowadays say, oh, I'm top tier. What makes you top tier?
Okay, so you define to me what you feel is
top tier?
Top tier, yeah. Besides what you just mentioned.
A provider and leader?
Yeah, which is the obvious.
I feel like everything kind of falls underneath that like umbrella. But I feel like a top tier man, and I even watched a podcast on this, and I even feel weird because now I feel like I'm repeating everything she said. But I'll just quote like just a few. But a top tier man is a man that can lead, a man that can provide. And it doesn't mean, ladies, provide like paying all the bills, doing all these stuff.
I want to see...
I know typically when women hear provide, they instantly feel like, oh, you need to like buy me shoes, fly me out, buy me bags. Like
hostage negotiation list that comes with now this term.
He said hostage.
Because it essentially is almost a hostage. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole, you have to do this. So in my opinion, I kind of don't believe in this whole like top tier, because to me it's like, it's kind of nonsense, right? You just... Like I said, my opinion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like you're doing what you got to do to make it work, right? So think of it like in the olden days. It's like I said, again, my opinion. You see two people get together, and it was based because they love each other and they make it work and get everything done.
A balance.
There's a balance.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like I said, it's like, it's a list of demands. So it's like, with dating now and like talking to people now, it's almost like a business transaction. Like it's transactional in a sense. It's like, what can you do for me and what could I do for you?
I feel like though, like marriage, a lot of people say marriage is like a contract, or a relationship is like a contract.
And it is.
It is in a sense, but then it's not in a sense, because if you're with someone that's willing to ride out and rock out with you for the right reasons, then I feel like it's okay. But also too, like I feel like a lot of these men nowadays, like a lot of the stories I hear too, like they come with nothing.
So
you can't come with nothing.
Which I agree. So the providing, I agree with all of those.
Like not even the shoes on their foot is theirs. It's their bedrooms.
But
nothing.
We can say it goes both ways though, because a lot of women don't come with anything either but the hostage negotiation list.
I know a lot of women that are like thriving, and I'm not saying men don't thrive, but a lot of women nowadays in society, they are thriving over the men, like eagling over them. Like,
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying for the most part, like in our culture, like with this whole like dating, what's going on right now, it's a lot of like bullshit. Like it's a lot of. So social media has a big role to play in it also, because it's a lot of people idolizing other people's lifestyles, relationships, and want that for themselves, right? Where it's like, you got to be real with yourself. Like you're looking at two multimillionaires. Mathematically, how the fuck does it make sense? You're in a different tax bracket, so how do you feel like you could do what those two people could do? So it's like you'll see relationship goals. People like, oh, they want to do what like Gucci and Keisha do right now. They're fucking multi-millionaires.
Yeah, they are.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense, but I feel like, okay, for me, I'm very big on ambition. If a man does not have ambition, you guys are going into the pits of Satan's belly. Of course, it's like jumping, but like again, like I said, it could go both ways. Like it could go both ways. I feel like a woman, even as a woman, if you don't have ambition, that to me is insane in itself, because I'm a very ambitious person and I'm a go-getter. But I feel like with men, like naturally, you should like have like that grit. Something should be in you. But a lot of days, men are okay with letting the female work like dogs. Yeah. And they're doing nothing. Which I said, like, I don't necessarily agree. That's crazy. With, that is crazy. But I also feel like at the same time too, society again, social media, they have made it seem like, and shout out to the BBL gal, damn, like I have nothing wrong with BBL, so people don't come for me in the comments. But I'm just saying, I feel like the men that have the money and the millionaires, they want the BBL girls. But okay, do you feel like? And it's so off topic, but I had to say it. It is, and that's a kind of a sticky topic to hold on, because like I said, you might have people in the comments commenting, right? We accept everyone. So do you again feel like with that, what you just said, right? Do you feel like they want that for long term, or just like a fun time? Again, y'all are probably gonna come for me in the comments, but I'm just answering his question. Yeah, I'm just asking respectfully. I feel like the men that there are some men that do marry the women with the little booties, and little booties do matter, but they marry them and then they get done up because they either step out of the relationship with the BBL girls, or they end up having side chicks, whatever the case is, and then the women, due to insecurities, they get their bodies done up. So I feel like men do go for the BBL girls. They do sit on these podcasts and say, oh, we're not interested. We don't marry them. We just have fun with them. Yeah, but then you guys marry them. Would you say that though? Really? Yes, they marry them. All the rappers, wives, fiancés, 90% of them, they're BBLs. But they're not married though. 90%, a good majority of them. Gucci. That's one. You might want to go to commercial break. It's gonna take you about 10-15 I'm not even gonna talk about LL Cool J, because those are old school like love marriages. But okay, not married, maybe fiancés and girlfriends. Everybody just says the one couple, because that's the one that you could find. So really, is there really no more? There is, but it's not at the rate that it's not marriage. Thinks. No, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like fiancé, girlfriend. Okay. So that's why back to the question why I asked you, do you feel like that's what people actually want, like, to marry, or you feel like that's just like that's what they deal with? But why are you guys wasting your time with aesthetic? Do you want to be with them or not? Like, because I'm not, again, you guys are probably gonna come for me, and I don't mean this by any shade, but from what I have seen on social media, a lot of these BBL girls, you guys are gonna come for me. They're not working. They're now you're going down the rabbit hole, right? And I mean no disrespect at all to the women that have their bodies done up. Some of them have had kids, and they don't feel as comfortable in their skin that they're in. And I have nothing against a BBL woman. Okay? But I'm just saying what I see on social media is a lot of them that do have their bodies done, they aren't working, they go to Chanel, they go to Gucci, they're living this high life, and they're not working. It's the man that is working and providing, which shows me that is the type of woman that these men want. Why would you want to be working so hard to just be giving a woman everything and she's not contributing to nothing? So yes, I do think that's what the men want.
Okay.
Like when Keisha met Gucci, what did Keisha have?
But she...
What did Keisha have? She had no body. She went and got her body done.
She did it when she... You sure? Because remember, Keisha...
she's been around.
But she's been around before she met Gucci. Like, she's kind of like in the industry.
She has, but I don't remember her bum looking like that.
You sure?
Like, I remember she had a body, but like, that body, that waist is like this big. You look amazing. Like, kudos to you. I feel like you guys are gonna come for me, but I don't care still.
They're millionaires, right?
Yeah, they are. So, yeah, I feel like that's what you men want. You guys want the BBL bodies, and if you guys don't want it, why do you guys step out? Like, even a lot of these famous people, they step out on their significant others with the BBL girls.
You ever think because men are visual?
Men are cheaters. Not all of you.
Men are very visual. Like,
so is that what you guys want long term? Is that what you want?
That's why I asked you. Me personally, probably not.
So you don't want a BBL body?
I don't have nothing wrong with it. Like, I don't knock any girl that gets her body done. Like, yo, if you feel like that's what you want to do.
That's what I'm saying. I have nothing against them. Great. Kudos to you. Right? Do it.
If you feel like it makes you look better, then cool.
And if you have the funds to do it,
exactly.
Kudos to you.
My main issue though, like I find like it just kind of like at this point, like I just don't like the personality that kind of comes with it.
The entitlement. They're like kids. Yeah.
So it's like I don't mind like I said, if a girl wants to get her body done, you feel like, bro, cool, and it looks good, like kudos to you, right? But
do they all look good?
But like I said, it's more just kind of like the mentality that comes along
behind it,
because it's almost like you said, like a sense of entitlement. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, now I look like this, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, right? Because why? Social media kind of shows them that the girls that look like exactly. But let's not fool ourselves. What a lot of girls aren't showing is what's really happening behind the scenes. So it's like you're seeing the nice IG pictures and stuff, but when the camera comes down, you're not seeing the big swatty fat guy that actually paid to fly you out and like what you might have to be doing for
the cockroaches in your apartment.
You see what I'm saying? And
the one drink in your fridge, but the Chanel bag in your closet.
Right? So social media is like it's not a real world. It's fake. No, but I feel like we're the only culture that doesn't know to separate the real.
We glorify that.
Exactly. So it's like we don't know to separate the two. Mm-hmm. So we think like this shit's actually for real. Like these people are actually living like this. These bloggers and these girls that might look a certain way. They're really flying.
Some of them are.
Some of them, but like I said,
a lot of them isn't.
A lot of them's not, and then there's a lot of them that why they're living this way is because the stuff they're doing to get that. Like it's kind of like a lot of them
dating
like,
men that they aren't really interested in just to get a diversion.
Now my question for you: would you not consider that like a form of
prostitution?
Right? I'm just saying, if you're you're using your body like to get what you want. What is that? What is that?
He's trying to set me up for you guys to come for me.
I'm asking a question because I want a woman.
This is a setup.
I want a woman's opinion, right? Because a lot of times if you try to ask this question, it gets like, no, it's like they'll like try to run around the question.
So you feel like they do the BBLs to get what they want?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there's a good percentage of, like I said, like we were saying earlier, like what the mentality that comes with it.
Yeah.
There is a lot of girls, on the other hand, now that do get it because they're trying to up the tax bracket of like...
Or they're genuinely just uncomfortable with their bodies after babies, whatever the case is.
We're not talking about those ones. Okay. Those ones are there, yes. But I'm talking about there is still a percentage of girls that will get the BBL and the
just
body done because you're attracting a different tax bracket of dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like you're trying to attract money, man, because men are visual. Real talk. I'm being for real, though. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people won't ever admit that. A lot of people say, oh, no, I'm doing it for myself. Cut the fuckery, like, you know what I'm saying?
So you feel like they're doing it because...
You see, you have to... Don't say they're doing it because I'm not painting everybody with the same brush.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a percentage of. I'm not saying
there is, and again, there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like they do it because they do want a certain type of certain type of lifestyle, exactly. And when you do that, you do attract a certain type of caliber of men.
100%.
Which I get.
100%.
But then it makes, like, the women that don't have it look at these men like, why are you crying that you have to fly her out to Turks and Caicos and buy her a Louis Vuitton bag? And she came into the relationship with Aldo. Nothing wrong with Aldo. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, like, why are you crying and saying, oh my God, she used me? No, that's what you wanted. That's
the next thing too. Like, you kind of got to be careful. Like, the energy you put out is the energy you get back.
For sure.
So, for instance, like, if you carry yourself a certain way and you're putting out that energy, mm-hmm. That's what you're gonna attract.
They know that though.
You see what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example. Like, I have jewelry and stuff, but mm-hmm. I stopped wearing my jewelry.
Because you know that the females, when they see
it's because it attracts a certain, whether it's from females or like people red-eyeing you or watching you, like, you know what I'm saying?
You put yourself on a target.
Exactly. Yeah. From like whatever way. So now it's like, for instance, like you go to a party and you know the setting of the party. It's like, whatever, like you have the girls that look a certain way, and then you have like the dogs that look a certain way, right?
So you're being monitored by both.
Right? Yeah. So it's like now the girls that look a certain way, they're looking at you now because you look like the dudes that look a certain way with the designer.
So they're like, oh, he has money. Yes. He's about to buy me drinks and fly me out to Turks and Caicos.
The first date, like, is all you're asking for Harbor 60. I don't even know your name, and you act like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you're kind of putting out a certain energy. So that's why, like,
are you turned off by females like that, or do you like the women with
me personally, like,
BBL'S?
I like it. Like, it's very visual. I like it.
Wow.
But
that's what you like?
No, but I'm just giving you. Yo, I'm just being for real. Like, as a man, you like to see like a girl's shape, good, body. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, you don't want like this whole big route. Like, so I have to be able to walk with you. Like, if you're coming with this big, gigantic words, I can't bring you. Where am I bringing you? Like, right away, it looks like.
Yeah.
Like, you're a sex worker and I'm your
You're her pimp.
Exactly. Like, nothing like that.
I feel like I'm sorry guys, I love lip gloss, so I feel like naturally men say one thing, and then if a BBL girl was to give them the time of day, they're gonna be able to
that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, yeah, I do like whatever, but that's not necessarily like that's not what I'm bringing home to my mom and like saying I'm gonna marry and like.
Oh, she's just a fun time then.
But that's, like I'm saying, like, certain things, like...
She's a fun time.
Because it's like...
She's a fun time.
There's a lot of... You see what I'm saying?
So do you want a little booties matter, or do you want, like, an in-between booty?
In-between. Yo. In-between, I would say. But...
Okay.
Okay. So now that I'm older, I would more say I've matured a lot. Whereas, like, I would more say, like, I'm very caught off by... the exterior.
Okay. So that was like your first initial thing, like the appearance. Okay, we're about to get
that girl. She's round. She looks good. We're like, oh, I'm on it. Like,
it's like it doesn't even matter about if she has sense or brains. Like, that's whatever.
So now I'm more like, I'd say I'm more to the like to the point where it's like,
what are her core values?
Exactly. So it's like that's what you're more looking for. So it's like I'm ready to. I look past a lot of things now. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, because I realize, like, bro, I know what comes with that. Like, so it's like, it doesn't...
The headache.
It's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're not interested.
No, I'm not interested. Like...
Do you guys hear that? He's interested in a certain caliber, and it doesn't start with B. B. I'm
they're going to cook you, eh?
I know!
just...
But I get it. So now, as that you have matured, you're now focused on, like, a woman that has her head on straight. She's willing to be a contributor to your household. Yeah. She has wife values and morals. Just has her head on straight. So do you feel like you should be paying all the bills in the house? Should it be a 50-50 thing?
You took my question. You know, I was going to ask you.
Should it be a 50-50 thing? Like,
so, okay, listen. My opinion, I'm not a 50-50 person, right? But you got to contribute something.
Okay.
Something. You can't just kick up, foot up. No, it's not going to work.
It's unacceptable.
Think of it, right? If you're pulling off of just the one income, you don't think eventually you're going to stretch that one income short? Like that one,
For
like
sure.
you won't be able to do as much if you're just living off of the one. Unless like, yo, don't get me wrong. If the person's like a multi-millionaire, bro, do your thing.
Yeah, then that makes sense. Like, it also depends. I had this conversation with a friend too. I feel like it depends, like, and a lot of, like, society has placed gender roles on a lot of things. Like, I feel like if a woman brings in more, then let's use our brain. Like, if your man isn't making more than you or whatever, like, why are you trying to still have him pay all the bills? Like, are you retarded? That's just my opinion.
So, my opinion also, you made a good point. My opinion, I feel like each like individual couple, they gotta do what works for them best. So some couples where it might work where the man pays for everything and they're still happy and they live a good life. Like the girl gets to save her money and put little things into like other stuff. Where some couples like the man might have to pay like say all the big bills and she pays the small bills.
Like
and
hydro.
She pays the hydro, the cable, the heat, the water, solar, whatever, and that works for them. Then that's
what works for you guys.
Everybody's situation is different, so everybody has to do what works for them best. Because the minute you start trying to live up to different like people's expectations, it's just gonna be trouble.
Then you're gonna fail.
You're gonna fail, and then it's gonna be a lot of fighting and arguing, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like your relationship is like doomed. You know what I'm saying. So do what
works best for you.
Exactly, what works best for you.
I agree. I also just feel like because of today's society, gender roles are placed. Yeah. And like typically like I had a conversation with my friend, she's like, why can't the man make the sandwiches and get up in the morning and be making breakfast? But I feel like it depends on cultural wise too.
Yes.
Like I was raised as like the woman cooks, cleans, does laundry, does everything, and the man goes to work and provides. Yeah. But also I do live in a realistic society as well where it's okay for him to help with the laundry. It's okay for him to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or make breakfast, like, or whatever the case is. Like, but that always doesn't work for everyone. Like, people have also painted a narrative where the woman must cook, the woman must do this, the woman must do that. Like,
I don't believe in that like that. So
neither do I.
Me, like, I cook. I'm a tidy, very tidy person.
Do you hear that, single ladies?
Very tidy, like to where you look in my closet, like, and the colors are organized, like all my.
Oh, you have OCD.
I wouldn't say OCD. I wouldn't say OCD, but I just like things tidy and neat.
So do I.
If my place is in a mess, it throws me off. So I make sure like
you just think straight. Like when things are tidy, you think straight.
You just clear.
You feel better.
Clear minded. Like you don't feel like, cause like how can you wake up in a dirty house and feel like okay with that? Like to me that's weird.
That's
like,
nasty.
But
also depends on upbringing.
Yes. So again, when I'm growing up now, my mom gets home from work every day at 4:30. I know by 4:30 that house must look a certain way, and if it's not, it's trouble.
It's a problem.
So I learned to time it where it's like, okay, I could go play outside till like 4:15 or whatever, because I know how long it's gonna take me to clean up the house and make sure I have to catch the elevator by a certain time. So as she's walking in the door, I have broom in my hand. She's thinking I'm just, but she doesn't know that I've done.
You just got there. Yeah.
But these kids today, like again, if it goes back to, you have to ask them 1,000 times to clean their room or like little things like that, right? So,
and then when you act like you're crazy, they think you're crazy.
Exactly. So
but really not. Shout out to the parents that be on their kids.
A lot of things like have to do with like upbringing and how you were raised, like what in terms of like what you were talking about with the gender role. So I don't mind doing all those things like cooking. Oh,
you don't mind sweeping and mopping and washing laundry?
That stuff doesn't bother me.
Oh, and dusting? And paying the bills?
Dustin, obviously if I see something like dusty, you know, but I just like a clean house.
A tidy house, typically.
So I'll do my part in that, right? So yeah, I don't mind those things at all. I don't think that's like stuck to us with like, oh, the woman needs to do this. Yeah. No, I don't think so. Like.
So question, if your woman didn't know how to clean, cook, but she was contributing to like the phone bill and the car insurance, would that be up to your standard?
That's tricky. I would still, like, it would help, but I don't know.
He's like, nah.
I think down the line, it's going to be kind of a problem because it's like, now I'm the one cleaning up after everybody. So I'm going to feel like I'm cleaning up after, like, a grown person. Like, and that's, like, like, you gotta be able to clean up. So you gotta be able to clean up after yourself. Like, so I feel like eventually that's probably gonna be an issue.
Exhausting. It will get exhausting.
Yeah, because it's like now you're gonna feel like a maid. Like I'm not a bitch. Like I'm not like a maid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
he's like, I'm not doing it. You gotta go.
Like like it's like you feel like, oh, I could just drop this and Shane's gonna pick it up. Like like come on, man. Like,
people get left for things like that.
Exactly. So it's
What would you tell your younger self? If you could look back and do everything that you did, what would you tell your younger self or the young kings that are out there watching you? What would you tell them in regards to relationship-wise when it comes to picking a female?
I wouldn't advise young kids to get into nothing too serious too young.
What age do you think is young?
like, you know, everyone has, like, you have your teeny bopper love or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, your
when
teenage.
you're teenager, like, you think this is the love of your life, you're hanging by the phone.
Oh my God,
like,
those ones hurt the most. Oh my God.
But you see what happens now when it mashes up now, like, the kids are going crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? So, just find somebody that could relate to you, like, you know what I'm saying, that you could, like, you know what I'm saying, you guys are alike in a lot of ways, like, you know what I'm saying, don't chase nothing because you think, like, social media or somebody's forcing you, like, that's what you have to go after, a girl that looks like this, or a guy that looks like this, or like vice versa, like, what you want, basically, like,
gems.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I would tell my younger self, never rush the process.
Good one, yeah.
Always trust your intuition, and pray about everything. I feel like that's where I kind of, you know, messed up a lot in my younger days. I feel like I didn't pray. And not everyone is spiritual. You don't have to. You can talk to a friend, ask for opinions, whatever. But I feel like you're young. Live your young, little, youthful life. Don't rush into anything. Be outgoing and spontaneous in everything that you do, and always trust your gut. And I feel like good things will fall.
Exactly. Everything will fall, like, align into place as it's supposed to. So it's like, yeah, pretty much.
I hope a good wife falls into Shane's lap for 2025. I feel like I can see that for him. I also told him when he gets married, I'm singing at his wedding. Shane, why are you doing that face?
I'm listening. No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
I can see marriage for you. I feel like even though you didn't experience it in your young childhood days, like, to see that in your face, I want marriage for you, Shane.
Okay.
Shane doesn't want it. Shane wants that BBL like
that. No, I never said that.
I
never said that.
And I know you guys are gonna come for me, but I have nothing against the BBL community. I think you guys are amazing, and I think the bodies look bodying. It's giving body. Kudos to y'all, but little booties do matter. We're just saying, not that I have a little booty, but I'm just saying.
Quick question for you: if you could do something different, what would you do different?
Career paths. I would have went into real estate instead of going into teaching, and instead of working for the courthouse, I would have went into real estate first and stayed there.
So for myself, I would say I would have listened to all the advice my parents were giving me at a younger age, because as I got older, I realized why they were telling me what they were telling me, and the reasons they were trying to tell me what they were telling me.
They were dropping gems, and they were OGs, and we just never took them serious.
And instead of having to learn, like, the hard way with a lot of things that, like, learning the hard way with certain things that kind of affect you for the rest of your life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been one of the main things. Listening to my parents at a younger age and realize they were telling me what they were telling me for a reason.
I love that.
And they all had good, it was always with the best intention, even though I never necessarily felt at that time.
Yeah.
It was for the best intention. You just think, like, oh, they're being mean, or mommy's being mean, or whatever. But no, she's telling me.
They were gems.
It was gems, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I myself.
Love that. And I love how you ended that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shane, aka BTS.
Professional, you know?
Right? Oh my God, I can't with him.
She took me out of my comfort zone.
I did.
3-4 years ago, I would never do this.
That's what I do. I pull people out of their comfort zone or say so. But thank you so much for coming on Royal Gems. Tune in to the next episode.